I wish this was one of those speeches where I could tell you that I was this out of shape slob 3 years ago, and now I have a six-pack of abs. But that's not the case. You know, as you can see here, I'm still pretty out of shape. But that's kind of what I want to talk to you all about today. Most people look at running a marathon and they get this image of in shape or light person, quick on their feet, and that's not always the case. My first marathon I ran was last year, and I did 5 hours and 12 minutes, which is not a very good time, but I still did it. And that's what kind of got me motivated to keep running. Some of the reasons that people have to run a marathon is progression. You know, if you ran a 5K or a 10K, it's trying at the time, and then you notice that you could run more if you wanted. So it's a natural progression to go from 5K to 10K to a half to a marathon. Another reason is for breaking mental barriers. You continuously tell yourself that you can't do things. It's nice to kind of surprise yourself and see what you can do. There's also a facet of donations. A lot of marathons you pay to participate, and that money goes towards like things like Cancer Society and stuff like that. And a lot of it has to do with self-confidence. You know, I felt a lot better with myself after running that first marathon, and I actually ran another marathon this year for the Air Force Deployed Marathon, and I ran it in 4:26, which you know, I cut almost an hour off of my time from last year. I'm going to go over things that you should do to prepare for a marathon, because that's the biggest part, is just preparing for it. If you prepare for it and stick to a schedule, it's going to hurt to run a marathon either way, but it's going to hurt a lot less if you prepare for it. What I like to use is it's called the Hal Hagon running schedule. It's really simple, and it basically tells you how many miles and how to do it every day. It progressively builds you up to running, so you don't injure yourself. There's days where you do cross training. A lot of it is little 3 to 5 mile runs every other day, and a long run on the weekend, and then a day of rest. I'm also going to provide a link to the site that has the charts for it, if anybody's interested in that. Another facet of training is making sure that you have the right type of shoes for it. You don't want to go running out in a pair of basketball shoes. It's just going to tear your feet up. You're going to blister. Your knees will get shot. But you want to have a good pair of running shoes. My personal favorite are Asics. My current shoe is actually the Brooks right now. As you can see, there is good support for your foot. And if you're flat foot like me, you want to have the large amount of support here to stabilize your foot, and it also moves your foot in a certain way for your foot strike, so you're not always hitting the heel of your foot. You bounce towards your ball of your foot, and that'll prevent knee injuries and sore feet, blistered feet. And I can't stress that enough. Shoes are the biggest. If you don't have good shoes, if you don't have good running shoes, you're just going to be broke, and you're not going to want to run again. now that we've talked about training, let's talk about the big day itself. A lot of times you have to register for the race a couple weeks before. That's where you'll get your shirt. This is what the shirts usually look like. They're made with material that actually wick the sweat off of you and prevents irritation on your skin as you run. You'll show up for the day of the race, and it's usually for long races like marathons. They start at about 6 o'clock in the morning. It's fun. You know, you wouldn't think that running would be that much fun, but it's really interesting because you show up and there's just so much energy in the crowd and from the runners themselves, and you'll find yourself running and you get motivated by these people, you know, cheering you on from the side of the street. It's you have fun with it. You have fun with it until it's usually mile 20 or 22, and that's what the runners call the wall. You run to a point where you just don't want to run anymore, and you have to use that self-motivation draw on the training that you used before to kind of just break through the wall. If I could just say anything, I mean, I'm proof. You know, I see people that are scared to run marathons because they don't see themselves in that image of a runner. You know, runners come in all shapes. I'm definitely what they call a heavy runner. Just do it for the enjoyment of it. Don't doubt yourself just because you don't meet a certain image of something. You know, just go out there and have some fun. And if anybody has any questions about the actual schedule or anything like that, please drop me a line. I'd be more than happy to talk to you. Thank you.